want people thinking that I'm the type of woman who's only interested in the size of a man's wallet.
He wasn't nearly as significant as he thought he was.
Eating bonbons, going, my life is over. I don't even know how to type. What am I going to do?
We're plunging into the baffling disappearance of the delightful, beautiful Kim Coles from In Living Color. Known for her wit and adaptability, she vanished in a flash, leaving fans bewildered with no explanation in sight. Whispers of a covert romance between Kim Coles and Keenen Ivory Wayans are circulating. Did sparks fly off the set? Did Keenen have his hands in the cookie jar? Or didn't he?
I was dating for a while. I'm not bragging.
We're here to uncover and reveal every tantalizing detail of this captivating drama. Don't go anywhere. But before we do, let us take a look into the journey that is Kim Coles' life. Kim Coles, a rising comedic star, joined the In Living Color cast. But only one season into the sitcom, Kim gets fired. Yeah, gone just like a cloud of smoke into thin air. Hold on a second. Maybe we might have jumped into this kettle of tea a little too quickly. Let's make it make sense, shall we? Kim Coles was born in January 1962 in Brooklyn, New York. Best known for her roles as the sweet and quiet naive Sinclair James and her famous catchphrase, "Woo woo woo," in Living Single.
I know someone wants me to say it, and so I shall. Woo woo woo.
There it is.
Coles got her start as a successful plus-size model before coming out as a comedian and actor. Appearing on a number of sitcoms, including Frasier and 6 Feet Under, Coles was one of the original cast members of the sketch comedy show In Living Color. Kim got her start in comedy as a warm-up act for The Cosby Show. Okay, before you start to assume that she's some small fry, you should know that Kim Coles is currently worth a solid $3 million and was nominated for 4 NAACP awards for her roles in Frasier and Living Single, and goes on to win one of those 4 nominations. She initially started as a plus-size model and even won first runner-up in a pageant. Guess what homegirl did for her talent show? She did a stand-up comedy about how silly beauty pageants were. The crowd definitely loved it, and that's how she ended up as first runner-up. She is beautiful, charming, funny, and confident to top it off. Before the show Living Single, Cole was on the sketch comedy show In Living Color, which was created and also starred Keenen Ivory Wayans. In case you're wondering which of the Wayans that is, and we would totally get why, it's this guy. It also starred Jim Carrey, Jamie Foxx, Damon Wayans, Kim Wayans, Shawn Wayans, and Marlon Wayans. Do you see where this is going? Amongst many others, of course. While the show had 5 seasons on air, our girl Kim was fired only after the first season. Can you imagine this? What could she have possibly done to get terminated so soon? Kim had this to say about the vibes between the members and herself, and it was rather interesting.
It was an interesting experience. It was tight for some because it's a family-run show. So I'll just say tight for some and not so tight for others.
Even landing the role was simply chaotic.
The audition process was the most grueling thing I've ever been through because Keenen wanted people who were stand-ups, who could also do characters, who could also write. So my first audition was to do stand-up, and I had a bit where I did like all the contestants in the Miss America pageant. And then I passed that test, and then you had to go and do improv. Then once you passed that, then he flew everybody from all the places. We came to LA to audition at the Laugh Factory, and that was grueling because you had to just show all your stuff.
And maybe that should have been her signal to leave. But nope, she missed that one. Was there possibly more to Kim Coles firing after season 1? Because the rumor mills lit up big time, and the show's creator Keenen Wayans was caught up somewhere in between. Rumors had it that there were sparks flying between her and Keenen, the show's creator. But was it just hot chemistry on screen, or was there something more? There was an unconfirmed gist that suggested a love affair between them that sizzled so hot that it resulted in a baby. So when homegirl Kim was fired from the show pretty early, she left denying reports of a love affair gone awkwardly south. And you can imagine that her husband wasn't very happy with that type of rumor about his love. There were even rumors about him and Jennifer Lopez having an affair at the same time. When asked about it, Keenen simply responded saying, "No." Really? Is that all you got for us? What do they say about one-word answers again?
An awful rumor saying that I'd had an affair with him. And it bothered me that people didn't give me credit, that the possibility existed that I didn't have an affair. Nobody has sex with someone and then they fire them from a job. I wasn't a whore, and I'm not there, and that's That's the reality of it. So
maybe we'll take their word for it, maybe we won't. Maybe there was indeed more to this abrupt dismissal of Kim Coles through her agent. You did hear that wrong. Kim says she received a call about being fired from the show from her manager.
I got a call from my agent saying, don't go to work Monday morning. Yeah, don't go to work Monday. I'm like, humana. And it was tough, of course, and it was embarrassing, and it was weird because it was the hottest thing ever, and I couldn't understand what I had done or not done right or wrong.
Did you say awkward? We did too. Woo, the drama. She must have seen it coming, right? I mean, it's not the kind of news that blindsides you on a Monday morning after a long weekend. Some more tea from Kim herself lets us know that Keenen was snatching roles out of her hands and giving them straight to his baby sis, Kim Wayans.
I will say that I get it now. It was really hard then to see the landscape, feel that I had all this talent inside of me and all these ideas, and that they weren't always encouraged, and they weren't always, didn't have a chance to see the light of day. And the good news, though, is that I was released after the first year, and I went on to a show where I felt that my talents and gifts and experience could really be fostered, and so it's a good thing in the end. It was tough in the moment.
Kim reveals that she later realized that it was Keenan's responsibility to make his sister a star.
And eventually we had a conversation, and I understood the politics of the situation.
And Cole's presence was not going to make that happen quickly enough. So Keenen clearly picked the Kim that was related to him. Like, getting fired over the phone isn't shady enough. Coles found out that Keenen was spreading word around town that she was let go because she wasn't versatile enough. But she said that she didn't quite understand how she could show versatility when she didn't even get a chance to show her capability. I mean, if everything was taken out of her hands and placed in baby sister's lap, what could she have done?
unfortunately, I wasn't given the opportunity to on that show. So I was released. I guess it was felt that I just was unnecessary. He didn't think I could do it. I was let go. And he did me a favor. I was bitter at first, gained 10 pounds back, the whole thing. Sit up in the house eating bonbons, going, my life is over. I don't even know how to type. What am I going to do?
Of course she'd be upset about it for a while. Who wouldn't, right? Thankfully, she takes it all in good stride and moves on.
But it was the best thing that could have happened for me because I learned something about myself. I learned something about integrity. I learned about what I will and won't do for a job. And I learned that life goes on.
In case that upsets you, Kim lets us into the details of an apology.
He actually said to me, I had to let you go and I knew you'd be okay. So how can you be, I had to let you go. Didn't explain, I had to let you go, but I knew you'd be all right. And I'm like, okay, because I am.
And
I was, yeah.
You were.
Yeah.
Y'all are good now.
We're good now. Actually, I got, I've had conversations with whoever I would consider the, offending, whatever. I'm good. I'm good now because I'm clear that was an opportunity that needed to happen the way it did. That was the show that brought me out here. Mm-hmm. So how can I have anything but love for that experience? And because I left and had a even better experience and made even more money and the show lasted even longer. And how can I be mad?
Coles next signs a brand spanking new deal with NBC for her very own show.
A year later, almost to the week that I was released from the show, I signed a deal at NBC to do my own show. And what's exciting about it, it's a sitcom deal. It's a deal that is open-ended. They're accepting ideas from me. They're allowing me to meet with different writers and producers that they like, different people that I like. And together, hopefully, we'll come up with an idea that will be great.
Of course, this would give the audience some insight into how creative she is, compared to what she was doing on the set of In Living Color. And that is precisely how Living Single was born. Queen Latifah, who is one of the cast members of Living Single, also signed a similar deal to Coles. After putting both women in a room and letting the creative juices flow, Living Single was born, a show which aired for 5 spectacular seasons.
It's not just the check. It's not just the family that you build with the camera and the crew and you celebrate births and deaths together and marriages and things. It's the free food. It's plentiful and it's delicious. And by your 3rd season or so, they're cooking whatever you want. want something. We had a kitchen on the set that was a real kitchen just for us.
As a matter of fact, the co-producer of Living Single said that Coles was the first choice for the role of Sinclair.
That I didn't have to audition for.
They wanted someone who could give naivete, but make it funny, and that's exactly who Coles was when she performed stand-up on stage. Talk about a great example of perfect fit for the role.
Talk about the contrast of like having to go through like the juggernaut of having to audition and audition again and hope that I get in a sketch and like beg to get on and go to a place. I had a deal at Warner Brothers and like we want to do a show about women, how they feel about each other and their careers and how they feel about men. And oh, by the way, what do you think of Queen Latifah? I was like, I love her. Yes. And they were having the same kind of meetings with her. They put the two of us together. They got Yvette Lee Bowser to create the show, and boom, we were off and running, and the cast came together beautifully. Like the first day of work, it was like, oh, this is gonna be a hit.
Living Single was such a success on so many levels. It gave the Black community a mirror into the possibilities that existed for young Black energetic men and women. In fact, word on the street is that the sitcom Friends drew a ton of inspiration from Living Single. By ton, we mean most of it except for the melanin.
Living Single came first, and Friends came second. Here's a show about 6 20-somethings living in the city, trying to make it, but we're Black. And then all of a sudden there was this show about 6 20-somethings living in the city, trying to make it, and they're white.
The official word being thrown around is blueprint, but you get the gist. Hey, what's that saying about imitation and flattery? Through it all, Kim is now 62 years old, and she's always held her head high. The truth is, sometimes things just don't work out, and that's okay.
I'll tell you what it taught me. You wanna know what really taught me, honestly? That not everything is gonna turn out the way you think it's gonna turn out. Because I was actually released after the first year. I was released. And it was really difficult at first. And then I booked a Living Single shortly thereafter, and then everything was better, bigger, stronger.
From rocking sketch comedy on In Living Color to gracing our screens as Sinclair on Living Single, she's left a mark that you cannot ignore. All these years later, still slaying the game, Kim continues to inspire with her infectious humor and positive vibes. You can catch Kim in Days of Our Lives as Nurse Whitley King and in Hungry as Charlene. Check out our video on Living Single.